right, all you streetlight crusaders, and I guess a couple of you graveyard shift workers out there tonight, welcome back to the Tuesday Night Special. And if you're wondering at home, folks, that $500 giant oversized ball that looks like the Death Star that tore apart my tree and actually ruined the front lawn, let's just say Dan the Weatherman Stu was able to sweep it up in a hurry and put it in the trunk of his car and said it'll be back and good as new by the time our New Year's special kicks off, which will be us on Twitch streaming games into the new year. Because I really don't think with the weather this week or this year, we're going to be able to actually go out for New Year's. To at least watch the fireworks, that is. Not anything else. Wearing a mask, of course, just in case you get worried, Maestro. But besides the Maestro getting worried about me going outside to see the fireworks to end off this year, I think it's time for us to end the year off right with one of my favorite parts of this show, only known as the Indy Report, which is me giving you guys 2 news stories, followed up by local concert information from local artists performing in a local area live near you. And in our first news story, and in sad news from the world of animation, Tuck Tucker unfortunately died this week at the age of 59 years old. And for those who don't know who Tuck Tucker is, he was the guy who was behind not only animation around the films of Pinocchio and The Emperor of the Night in 1987, but also part of the Disney classic of The Little Mermaid, and would even go ahead and be a part of not only the Rugrats, The Simpsons, Hey Arnold, SpongeBob SquarePants, even SpongeBob SquarePants the movie, and also be featured a part of series such as Family Guy and even Drawn Together and even The Fairly Odd Parents. And in my opinion, with the fact that this guy was a part of a couple of, or should I say most of the cartoons I watched during my childhood, definitely tells you how creative this guy was and is. And on top of that, folks, he would also be a part of a special feature film for Bob's Burgers that would be scheduled to be released as of April 9th of 2021. That was originally scheduled for a 2020 release, but unfortunately due to how the world's been broken apart due to COVID-19 has been delayed to the date we mentioned prior. And we here at the Tuesday Night Special would like to say on behalf of Tuck Tucker, may your work live on forever, and may you forever rest in peace. Or more or less to quote Craig Barlett, pass the ball to Tucker. And with that said, folks, we go into our next news story, which comes from the world of Dead Meat. And apparently to wrap up the year, Dead Meat would decide to do a charity where he would raise money for the LA Regional Food Bank and would do it by playing the duck game with several of his associates from Dead Meat headquarters. And the fact that they're playing a game to 100 in the game of the duck game, seeing how fun that game was when I saw New Legacy Inc. play it, I got a feeling he's gonna be there for a while playing that game with all sorts of crazy duck-like shenanigans. And for any of you out there who wants to go ahead and check out this cool stream to end off the year just a day before the year ends, you can head on over to the YouTube page or Twitch channel of one man known as Dead Meat James at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Wednesday to check it out for yourselves. To get a little bit of entertainment to brighten up your moods before this year ends. Trust me, I got a feeling we all need it. And with those 2 final news stories out of the way for this year, folks, we now head directly into the concert information to wrap things up for the year. And the first band we have up for Wednesday, December 30th is Kurt Gallagher, who's going to be performing at the Wayne Library in Wayne, New Jersey. At 11 a.m., Jocelyn and Chris is both going to be performing at the Vibe Stream number 6 YouTube Live Guitar Improv in YouTube, New York at 7 p.m. It's an online performance, but man, it would be funny if they actually made a YouTube New York in New York City. Anyway, folks, next bands we have up is the Kitty Cat Band, Sun Colors, Lilac Flower, Mike Jesse, Phil Shield, producer, and 4 other bands yet to be announced, all performing at the Computer Sings Best Songs with Sylvana, Stardust, Kitty Cats, and Friends in New York, New York at 8 p.m. Resovli LLC is going to be performing at the Grasshopper Irish Pub and Restaurant in West Milford, New Jersey at 8 p.m. And to finally wrap it up for Wednesday night, the final Wednesday night of 2020, you can see stand-up comedy who's going to be performing at the Broadway Comedy Club in New York City, New York at 10 p.m. And on Thursday, New Year's Eve, December 31st, you can see these following bands performing in a local area live near you. The Coots, who's going to be performing in Everywhere in Caldwell, New Jersey at 12 a.m. Neo Official Songwriter is going to be performing at the Promise to Love live stream performance in New York, New York at 6 p.m. Liam Watson and Positive Energy, nice band names, is both going to be performing at the Colony's Pub and Restaurant in New York, New York at 8 p.m. You can also see Kicking Sunrise, who's going to be performing at the NYE Acoustic Show at Sky Cafe Ocean Casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey at 6 p.m. And yes, Maestro, I know I'm going backwards, but we're going to try to mention as many bands as we can to wrap up this year, which means we're going further backwards with Nancy Malcoon, who's going to be performing at the Naughty Springs Distillery in Cape May, New Jersey at 6 p.m. You can also see Thomas Brett, Jason Alden, Sugarland, 509, and one other band yet to be announced who's all going to be performing at the BB&T Pavilion in Camden, New Jersey at 7 p.m. And to finally wrap things up for New Year's Eve, aka Thursday night, you can see none other than Darren DeMarco, who's going to be performing at the Pattenberg House in Asbury, New Jersey at 8 p.m. And for Tuesday for next week, or in our case, next year, which is the 5th of January, you can see these following bands performing in a local area near you, live. The Mountain Goats, nice band by the way, who's gonna be performing at the City Winery in New York, New York, at 3 p.m. And to finally wrap it up for Tuesday for next week or next year, depending on what side of the world you're on, and for all the bands we're going to mention for this year, you can see Ramith Khalid, the Really Bad, who's going to be performing at the Online Performance in Online, New York at 8 p.m. And if you guys want to go ahead and check out the complete list of bands that we couldn't list during this very broadcast, and trust me, folks, there were a lot of them, you can head on over to ReverbNation.com to check out the complete list of bands that we couldn't list during this very broadcast. And like I say at the end of all of these skits, go out there, support your local artists, and see these guys perform live. And trust me, they'll love you for it. And I guess with that said, we might as well head back to the music one more time. And when we return, we'll be back with the final segment for the Tuesday Night Special for this week and for this year, right after this. So don't go watching those infomercials or reruns of your favorite TV shows just yet, folks. And stay tuned.